Welcome to Pathetical Insights with Julie. Today we have Julie with us, who's a Karuna Reiki master. I think that's how you say it, Julie. You can correct me. And she has a long history of Reiki, so I will let her introduce herself and give you a little bit of her background.
Oh, well, thank you. I am a Holy Fire 3 Karuna Reiki Master. And I also have been became a shamanic practitioner. I combine my shamanic skills with my Reiki skills and am an end-of-life doula. And I've been practicing Reiki, Reiki in general for 16 years. Became attuned with Usui Reiki level 1 and 2 in 2009 and became a Usui master the fall of 2010. I've been a teacher for over 30 years. So in the classroom, it became natural at one point in time for me to become a Usui Reiki or begin teaching classes. And I did that 4 years after I was attuned with level 1 and 2, and then went on and decided that I would see and expand and received my ignitions for the Karuna in 2016. So, and upgraded in 2020 and from the Holy Fire 2 to Holy Fire 3. So it's been just that progression of integrating and expanding those Reiki skills.
And you use a lot of other methods along with your Reiki, like essential oils and crystals, don't you?
Oh, yes. I love the nature medicine. And I actually worked with crystals even before, around the time that I learned Reiki. It was that natural energy that I could feel. But I've always loved pretty things and rocks and picked them up and worked with the nature spirits. Yes.
And for those that don't know what Reiki is actually an energy healing. It's you cleansing the body of somebody to get rid of that negative energy to allow deeper insight for them, correct?
Yes. It does. It puts you in touch more with your inner knowing, your intuition, as we're calling that inner knowing. That it just connects our soul with our physical body.
And a lot of people will use it like for pain. They'll also use it for grief, because it gives you an inner peace. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's how it helps with the pain, because it helps disperse that pain out, right? Because you have all of that negative energy with that pain.
Stuck energy will get into our cells, or it'll hit these points and will just not move, will not flow correctly. And so that Reiki allows it allows that release. It allows that flow, that natural flow that we should have within our body. And it relaxes, and part of healing is relaxing. If our body can relax, that's why we sleep when we're not feeling well or when we're ill. We will sleep a lot because our body needs that sleep, that relaxation to heal itself.
Reiki was very popular in the 1990s, especially with the move towards holistic and whole health. We saw during COVID, a pandemic, a lot more people turning to Reiki and holistic medicines. Do you believe that there are as many people interested in Reiki today as there was back in 2020 when the pandemic struck?
I'm finding that, yes, they are, and they're willing to expand and to experiment a little bit more in what was, it's not our traditional way of, doing things, of healing, or of even the that healing or that life purpose. They're finding that there's a broader purpose for the reason why they're here, even. So they're getting in touch more in with their own personal healing or their own personal beliefs, or they'll look at expanding into relaxation. They've been going so much, and then around 2020, when we couldn't go, we had to stay still. I think people really liked that, and they want that more peaceful sort of life, and even finding community of individuals that are a little more peaceful, that are a little more less go for them, and finding their own broader purpose is what I've been seeing too.
That makes sense to me because when you introduced me to Reiki and taught me my
Mhm.
level 1 and 2, and I went on to get my master, and I became a master as COVID broke out. But what I found is it gave me inner peace. It allowed me to work on
Mhm.
who I was. And, a good friend of mine always uses the analogy of the airplane. When you're on an airplane and the stewardess says, you need to put the mask on yourself first because you can't help others if you're not help first.
Yeah.
You have to take care of yourself first. And that kind of stands true with the Reiki. If you don't take care of yourself, that Reiki helps you take care of yourself so you can take care of others and
Mhm.
deal with things that are happening around you.
Mhm. And many people, when I entered into Reiki at the beginning, I had no intention of ever working on other people. I really, even though I was a teacher, I had no intention of teaching other people. It was all about my own healing, my own work on myself and feeling better. And I am meeting more and more women that have been the caregivers, they've been mothers, they've taken care of their husbands, and that's what they themselves are now focusing more on themselves. And they're um, building up their own energy, building up their own stamina to go on with life, building up their own purpose, putting on their own mask first so that they can be better mothers, better wives, um, better workers within whatever career they've picked.
Do you
So
feel that people search for alternatives like Reiki or shamanic healing medicines when they feel traditional medicine has not been helpful for them?
many of the people that I work with, and even myself, um, yes, I would say that they've tried other things and it just wasn't giving them the answers, and they'll they will be more open to investigate. It's like we've tried everything else, let's try this. And yes, they do um, look at, okay, tell me a little bit more. How does this kind of fit in? It just gives almost like a foot in the door if they weren't successful in other ways. And I also had a mother who used a lot of the folk sort of medicine. She used herbs and made salves, and we didn't really see a doctor if it could be fixed through some of her folk sort of medicine or some of the herb sort of medicine. Then she would that's how we would get better. You and I see many mothers that are going back to that more traditional sorts of ways of healing. Um, and that's what kind of got me into the plant medicine. That's what had done that. And so there are individuals that, okay, we've done this route, we've done what the doctor said, we've tried this medicine, we've tried this, and it just hasn't quite worked. And so let's look at something that is a little bit different. And um, and so Reiki is becoming more mainstream. I'm finding some of my cancer, some people that I knew that had cancer, their doctors had suggested they try Reiki. And so they knew that that I was a practitioner, and they came to me just to help in between some treatments, to help the chemotherapy synthesize through their bodies easier. Um, or after radiation to help their body heal from any type of, there's sometimes radiation burns or uh, things that happen to the cells with the radiation. And so they came to me to help their body just relax or to heal those parts or uh, recover, I guess is the other word I was looking for after those treatments. So it gets that foot in the door.
Mm-hmm. It does. I know a lot of people think that they can't do Reiki. And really, a large part of doing Reiki is being able to focus and align, get that energy engaged and align it to perform the Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
Could you discuss how people can engage in that energy?
It's all around us. It's when we become attuned, or in the case of Holy Fire, they do placements. And I always tell people it's a reawakening of our innate skills. When we bring our hands together, and you really start to, you kind of concentrate or put focus on that space between your hands, you will feel a resistance. That's the energy that's all around us that that is kind of repelling each other or will build up between your two hands. Because Reiki isn't something that comes from outside of us. It's actually what surrounds us. It's the energy surrounding us. And it's just there is some relearning or some open-mindedness to understand that yes, we have that energy around us. It's there, it's a warmth. So it's that kind of that warmth that we're feeling like, oh, okay. We can begin to look at ourselves or someone else in that kind of candlelit room, and you will see a glow. There is, if you just kind of let your eyes go lax, you will see that glow around us. Again, that's the Reiki energy. When you talk about someone, many times we talk about pregnant women and how they have a glow. That is their expanded Reiki energy around them from growing this life inside of them.
And there is no more energy than a life inside of you.
Oh, there is. Yeah, there is definitely. I mean, and you will see that with that glow. When someone has done something for themselves, investing in themselves to do. Oh, I was thinking of like a massage, because a lot of times you feel so relaxed after a massage too, that there's that glow that you have or that feeling. That's that Reiki energy that's been allowed to really flow through your body.
So I'm going to talk a
Mhm.
little bit about distant Reiki.
Distance.
And I know that we don't give Reiki to people unless we know that they want Reiki, because you just don't randomly throw Reiki at people unless they want it. Some believe that you really cannot conduct distant Reiki. And I tend to argue with that because I was sitting 50 miles away on a Zoom call and they were doing a Reiki share. And there was another Reiki master in the room, and he was working on someone. And I'm like, you need to go over to her left hip and check that out. And he's like, goes over, he goes, you're right. Come to find out, she was having a lot of pain in her hip, wound up going later, I believe, in for a hip reconstruction or replacement. So
Wow.
you can feel somebody's energy from a distance. You just have to be able to have that focus and believe that you can feel it. So that was probably one of the most significant experiences I had. And I remember him saying, yeah, we just blew that right out of the water. Anybody that doesn't believe that you can do distant Reiki because you just showed them different. So what is your experience with distant Reiki?
I love distance Reiki. It's learning that symbol is been amazing because there's so many applications to it. Just more than I'm here in this room, you're there in your room, or talking across Zoom. Um, and I can still tap into your energy. You can still tap into my energy. That's what I love about Zoom is there is still that physicalness, but it's there. That's that cord. It's that Wi-Fi, that cord between the two of us. But that cord doesn't have to be in the same time and space. You can take that cord and attach it to an experience you had when you were a child, and be able to um, heal that moment and that memory and ease some of the consequences that you're feeling. It's like all of a sudden those consequences aren't as big, or they're not even there anymore. They can actually be healed and disappear. It allows connection to a future event, even. I love to use the distance symbol on when I'm like applying for a job or sending in important paperwork that, or even like I was talking to a friend and we sent distance Reiki to them through, they were going up for an interview in a couple of days. So it's like, okay, let's send distance Reiki to that interview and get that whole room full of great energy so that you feel energized and you know you're in the right place and the right people are going to be there. I've done that even with some people that are going in for surgeries. And so and I remember the person, so we sent it to the surgical room and those individuals that were going to be there in the surgery, and that for the doctors and the estheticians and the nurses and just anybody that was going to be there. And I remember there was a last minute switch with the doctor. And it was like, oh, that's interesting. But it was a better fit and a better placement. And the surgery just went very well. And the individual that was having the surgery felt very confident. And the doctor came out and said, this was extremely successful. And in it, I've I've different experiences. I remember one experience that I had was when Haiti had their earthquakes, and there was a reporter that was reporting on much of the tragedy that happened, and there was a woman in the background, and you could tell she was completely she was not there. She was wailing and she was pacing back and forth, and her friend was trying to console her, and this woman was just had no clue who was there or who was around her. And the reporter was saying that she had lost her husband and her children. She was the only survivor. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm here across the world. How can I help her? Money, sending money to her, yes, that will help, but it's not going to help her need right at this moment. And I had that feeling I needed to send to her if she would accept it, and to the whole situation. Reiki healing, just of knowing that there was love and somebody thought about her and was caring for her and was surrounding her with love. And the energy flew. I could just feel the energy leaving me and that love surrounding her. And a few days later, the reporter was back and had shown her, and she was still kind of out of it, but she was sitting there with her friend and was connecting with her friend. They reported back, and I saw that little bit of difference.
That's
And
wonderful.
I know, and it made me feel like not so helpless, and still be able to help somebody that I could care for. Um, so it's it's when we think outside of the box, it's a very powerful symbol just within that.
So, you do have to believe in Reiki when you're the Reiki person, when you're getting your Reiki level. I mean, if you don't believe in
Mm-hmm.
it, it's going to be really hard for you to engage in that. But
Yeah,
if
to turn it on. Yeah.
Right. So, but the person that's getting the Reiki, they don't necessarily have to believe in it because I mean, we've done Reiki on people with anxiety or mental health conditions. I mean, or autism, more so than anxiety. But like autistic children don't necessarily know that you're giving Reiki to them. So can you kind of discuss that a little bit?
Um, the permission, sometimes you'll get permission from the mind where the person will be like, no, I don't want that. But you feel their soul screaming, yes, yes, yes. Um, because our soul recognizes this energy. It's a soul energy. It's that soul connection. And that's where the permission really comes from, is the soul connection. And your intention when you're giving it, it's not like I'm going to change you. It's more of an intention of like, I would just like to share love with you. This unconditional love that I wish to share with you. And when that intention is there for whatever that person's greatest good is, it will flow. And if you're not quite sure, then it will just kind of be absorbed into the environment, or to those that are present that are accepting to it. And they don't have to, they can be skeptical about it. I have had so many skepticals in my life that I've proven that this works and that it's very powerful and that it helps with whatever they need, and even if it's just to bring them some peace. And I'm running out of skeptics, because they just are like, wow, after a session. And the one thing I love, I worked with adults with autism when I taught, and they are my most receptive. They understand the energy, and they're the most receptive with the energy. Um, they've kind of cut through that mindset, and they don't have that block with a mindset of this isn't going to work. They haven't been taught it's not going to work. And so they recognize the pureness of the energy flow and the energy that's coming from me to them.
And it's
Um,
actually very calming for somebody with autism.
it is, because it helps them to actually flow their energy. Sometimes the stemming and the noises and the flapping, that is because there's some type of interruption in their energy that they don't understand, or they kind of get a wave of energy they don't understand. And so I found that just standing there and helping them flow their energy, because of my Reiki training, would help them then calm down and be able to be in the environment that we were in.
And I think what people have to realize is when you're sending that Reiki energy, you're sending love, right? Your intentions are always the best intentions.
Correct.
They're to give love and give light and hope.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Correct.
anybody that's skeptical of love, maybe they might have an issue, but like you said, we're not out there trying to change people. We're out there trying to give hope to people. We're trying to show them that we care.
Mm-hmm.
Can you discuss the difference between shamanic versus Reiki?
Yes, the when you I looked at that and I really had to kind of think, because there's a lot of it that blends together. And that's why it's very easy for me to use shamanic skills when I'm doing Reiki. But I find Reiki works in more of the physical plane. I'm working here on a person in the room or across time and space, but with the distance. But it's still working on the physical body. I'm still connecting from the physical body, um, and moving the energy around a physical body. Um, it's the stuck energy wherever the pain is, or the cell memory that they have. I'm moving that. And I don't always know why. It's just, I'm feeling the energy. Um, Sometimes I get like a glimpse of a picture, or I'll get a song that'll come through my head, or I will get a smell or a feeling. I get little glimpses. And the shamanic, when you're doing shamanic, that puts you more into that trance like state. And we do that through rhythmic drumming. And it's a sleep actually, where I am moving my body and moving the energy and sweeping it down a person with Reiki. When I'm in doing a shamanic practice, I'm laying down, I'm going into the dream world. And so it's more of it's more within the uh, spiritual realm is where that is. So it's not necessarily the physical body. I'm moving more into the spiritual realm. There will be a movie playing in there, but I'm not actively moving my body, because my body is staying still, where my soul is moving into that dreamlike state and traveling through in what we call a journey. And I'm asking questions. I will have imagery come into me and I ask more questions, of what does this mean? What am I bringing back? What do I need to tell the person? And so it's more a separation of the soul working out in shamanic, where in Reiki it's the body working out with the person.
So by
Is
learning what you learn in your shamanic practice, you can take that out and do Reiki on the person. You would be able to better understand what their need is.
and yes, I can, it, as I'm working with the Reiki and moving the energy, I can get actually ask what the story is. I can talk or kind of interact, go into more of a dreamlike state where I can interact with wherever their pain is and find out, okay, why is this pain still here? What is the story behind this pain? Um, and help the individual as I'm moving it through. And there, the shamanic practice is a little bit quicker in the healing too, because I'm doing more with the soul work. Where with Reiki, you're doing a little bit more with the physical body work, as because you're moving that energy through there.
Julie, if people wanted to reach
Mhm.
out to you to have any Reiki or get involved in the shamanic practice, how can they get in touch with you?
I do have a website landing page, and I can give that to you so that they can find that. Clients uh, that would like to work on some of the things they're doing, and you can find me at my page. I also teach a shamanic apprenticeship, year one currently. That is full, but there is information from that landing page to my page with the shamanic work as well.
I can post it when I post this
Yeah, when
podcast.
you
So.
post it. Yeah, thank you.
And then, why should people consider Reiki or shamanic practices, or both, or the use of crystals or essential oils?
Oh, you'll be surprised on how easy it is to um, move in, get answers, become clear in your thinking, and answer some of those life purpose questions that you have. It's consider it with the things that are out there and the way that the world is changing and how quickly it's moving. It's wonderful to be able to learn how to step back and to quiet your mind, to quiet yourself in whatever means that you can. And this is just one of those practices that are very easy to learn. It is intuitive. And if it's something that you're drawn to, it will help you so much. It doesn't have to be something that you do for other people. It's just for what's going to help you in your own personal journey.
And I believe that's true. You have to do it for yourself first,
Mhm.
and then you can do it for other people. Well, I thank you for your input. This was a great conversation. Maybe I can have you back again and we can talk about shamanic practices or some of the crystal or essential oil practices, because I experience shamanic practices a little bit, but not in depth. The essential oils, I kind of dabble, crystals dabble, but I know that you've got a lot of experience with the essential oils and crystals. So maybe we can have another meeting about that at some point.
That would be wonderful. I appreciate that.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
you're welcome.